Why are plane crash deaths up 300% this year?
Experts are alarmed. This isn't normal.
Stop scrolling. What I'm about to show you will change how you think about flying forever.
While aviation remains statistically the safest form of travel, the Jeju air crash in South Korea ended 179 people in seconds. In 2024,
by the end of this video, you'll understand the hidden factors behind aviation safety that airlines don't want you to know. Let's get started.
December 29, 2024. Flight 2216 approaches Muin International Airport in South Korea. What happened next would become one of the deadliest crashes of the decade. The Boeing 737-800 performed a belly landing after reporting a bird strike, but something went catastrophically wrong. The aircraft overran the runway and struck a concrete barrier, erupting in flames. Of 181 people on board, only 2 survived. This wasn't just another crash. It was the deadliest aviation accident of the 2020s so far. The images were horrifying. Passengers had mere seconds to realize their fate. What makes this crash particularly disturbing is that belly landings, while dangerous, are usually survivable. So what went wrong? The investigation revealed critical flaws in emergency procedures, airport design, and crew response protocols that have sent shockwaves through the aviation industry worldwide. Boeing. Just hearing that name makes aviation experts nervous, and for good reason. Following the 737 MAX disasters that killed 346 people, you'd think Boeing learned its lesson. Think again. Throughout 2024 and into 2025, Boeing aircraft have been involved in multiple serious incidents. Door plugs blowing out mid-flight, engine failures, emergency landings. Each incident chips away at public confidence in what was once considered the gold standard of aircraft manufacturing. The Alaska Airlines Flight 1282 door plug blowout in January 2024 was a wake-up call that Boeing's quality control issues run deeper than anyone imagined. Passengers were literally sucked toward a gaping hole at 16,000 feet. The fact that no one died was pure luck, not good engineering. Internal whistleblowers continue to expose shortcuts, rushed production schedules, and a corporate culture that prioritizes profits over passenger safety. This isn't just about one company, it's about systemic failures in aviation oversight. Here's what the aviation industry doesn't want you to know. While overall crash numbers might seem stable, the nature of aviation incidents is changing dramatically. Yes, commercial aviation deaths in the US remained relatively stable between 2023 and 2024, but that statistic masks a troubling reality. Near misses at airports have skyrocketed. Runway incursions, where aircraft or vehicles wrongly enter runways, are at alarming levels. Air traffic control errors are increasing. Pilot fatigue incidents are being reported more frequently. The Federal Aviation Administration logged over 1,199 aviation incidents and accidents in 2024 alone, with 180 being fatal. But here's the kicker. These numbers only tell part of the story. Many incidents go unreported or are classified as minor when they could have been catastrophic. The aviation industry has mastered the art of statistical manipulation, focusing on commercial airline safety while ignoring the broader picture of aviation risks that affect millions of passengers daily. Picture this. You're cruising at 35,000 feet when suddenly your pilot receives conflicting instructions from air traffic control. Sounds like a nightmare? It's happening more often than you think. The air traffic control system, the invisible backbone of aviation safety, is cracking under pressure. Controller fatigue, understaffing, and outdated technology are creating dangerous situations daily. In 2024, multiple incidents involved controllers clearing aircraft for takeoff while other planes were still on runways. At Reagan National Airport, 2 planes came within 400 feet of collision, a split second from disaster. The problem isn't just human error, it's systemic failure. Many control towers operate with equipment from the 1980s, struggling to handle modern air traffic volumes. Controllers work mandatory overtime, leading to exhaustion and mistakes. The Next-Gen Air Traffic Control Modernization Program, promised for decades, remains incomplete. Runway incursions are aviation's dirty secret, and they're happening at an alarming rate. These occur when aircraft, vehicles, or people wrongly enter airport runways, creating collision risks that could kill hundreds. The numbers are staggering. The FAA reported numerous serious runway incursions in 2024, including several that came within feet of catastrophic collisions. At Los Angeles International Airport, 2 planes nearly collided during taxi operations. At Austin Bergstrom, a Southwest flight crossed an active runway just as a FedEx cargo plane was landing. The FedEx crew had to perform an emergency go-around, averting disaster by mere feet. What's causing this surge? Airport congestion, inadequate lighting systems, confusing taxiway layouts, and communication breakdowns between pilots and controllers. Many airports were designed decades ago for far less traffic. Today's massive jets navigate these cramped spaces like elephants in a china shop. Technology exists to prevent these incidents, but implementation is slow and underfunded. Every runway incursion is a potential Tenerife disaster waiting to happen. The aviation industry faces a pilot shortage crisis, and the response has been alarming. Lowering standards to fill cockpits. Regional airlines, desperate for pilots, have reduced training requirements and experience minimums. New pilots enter service with significantly less flight time than previous generations, then immediately face complex aircraft systems and challenging weather conditions. The results are predictable. In multiple 2024 incidents, investigators cited pilot inexperience or inadequate training as contributing factors. Simulator training, while advanced, cannot replicate every real-world scenario. Many new pilots have never experienced actual emergencies before facing them with passengers aboard. The 1,500-hour rule, implemented after the Colgan air crash, is being circumvented through military and university pathway programs. Behind every safe flight is rigorous aircraft maintenance, or at least there should be. The reality is far more disturbing. Cost-cutting measures have transformed aircraft maintenance from a meticulous safety process into a profit-driven operation where shortcuts can prove fatal. Airlines increasingly outsource maintenance to third-party contractors who bid for contracts based on lowest price, not highest quality. Mechanics face pressure to complete inspections faster, sign off on questionable repairs, and defer maintenance items that should be immediate priorities. The Boeing door plug incident revealed that critical bolts were either missing or improperly installed during maintenance. Southwest Airlines faced scrutiny for maintenance-related issues that grounded numerous aircraft. Foreign maintenance facilities with different safety cultures and oversight standards now service U.S. aircraft with minimal FAA oversight. Mechanics report being intimidated when raising safety concerns, creating a culture where speaking up about problems can cost careers. Weather kills more aviators than any other single factor, and our weather detection technology is failing when pilots need it most. The sophisticated radar and satellite systems that airlines rely on have significant blind spots and limitations that pilots discover too late. Microbursts of violent downdrafts that can slam aircraft into runways remain nearly impossible to predict accurately. Clear air turbulence, invisible to radar, is increasing due to climate change and catching crews completely off guard. In 2024, multiple flights encountered severe turbulence that injured passengers and crew, with pilots reporting no advance warning from weather systems. The aging Doppler radar network has coverage gaps, particularly in mountainous regions and over oceans. Pilots flying through these areas essentially navigate blind through potentially deadly weather. Icing conditions, another major killer, are poorly forecast. While passengers remove shoes and surrender water bottles, real security threats slip through airport defenses with alarming regularity. The Transportation Security Administration's focus on passenger screening creates a false sense of security while ignoring more dangerous vulnerabilities. Airport workers with security badges access aircraft and cargo areas with minimal oversight. In 2024, multiple incidents involved unauthorized personnel reaching secure areas, including active runways. Baggage handlers, catering staff, and maintenance workers move freely around aircraft, yet many receive less background screening than passengers. Cargo security remains a joke. Freight containers board passenger planes with cursory inspection at best. The sophisticated scanning equipment used for passenger bags doesn't exist for cargo holds. Foreign airports, particularly in developing nations, maintain security standards that would be considered laughable in American facilities, yet flights from these locations land daily at major U.S. airports. Meanwhile, TSA agents miss prohibited items in tests, sometimes at rates exceeding 70%. The agency's own investigations reveal systematic failures, yet the security theater continues while real threats multiply. Remember the Jeju air crash that started our story? It began with a bird strike, and these incidents are far more dangerous than airlines admit. Bird strikes occur thousands of times annually, causing hundreds of millions in damage and putting countless lives at risk. As urban development expands around airports, bird populations increase near runways, creating perfect storms for disaster. Modern jet engines, despite their power, are surprisingly vulnerable to bird impacts. A single large bird can destroy an engine, while flocks can take out multiple engines simultaneously, as Captain Sullenberger experienced over the Hudson River. Airport bird control measures are inadequate and underfunded. Noise cannons and other deterrents work temporarily, but birds adapt quickly. Habitat modification around airports is expensive and often opposed by environmental groups. The FAA's bird strike reporting system relies on voluntary reports from pilots and airlines, meaning actual numbers are likely much higher than recorded. Climate change is altering bird migration patterns, bringing species into airport areas at unexpected times and in larger numbers than historical data predicted. Pilot and crew fatigue contributes to more aviation accidents than airlines want to admit, and the problem is getting worse. Airlines schedule crews to legal limits, not safe limits, pushing human endurance to dangerous extremes. Red-eye flights, multiple time zone crossings, and minimal rest periods create zombie-like conditions where split-second decisions mean life or death. The current flight time limitations, designed decades ago, don't account for modern airline operations or scientific understanding of fatigue effects. Pilots report microsleeping during flights, missing radio calls, and making basic errors they would never make when rested. Flight attendants, responsible for passenger safety during emergencies, work even longer hours with less regulatory protection than pilots. The FAA's fatigue risk management systems are voluntary and rarely enforced. Commuter airlines, where many pilots build experience, operate under different rules that allow longer duty days and shorter rest periods. International flights create additional complications as crews must adapt to different time zones, while maintaining alertness for complex approaches to unfamiliar airports. Modern aircraft are technological marvels, but this sophistication creates new vulnerabilities that pilots struggle to manage. The Boeing 737 MAX disasters highlighted how automation can turn deadly when pilots don't understand complex systems. Today's cockpits overwhelm pilots with information, creating decision paralysis during emergencies. Touchscreen displays replace mechanical switches, but screens can fail at critical moments. Fly-by-wire systems interpret pilot inputs rather than directly controlling aircraft, sometimes overriding human judgment with catastrophic results. GPS jamming and cyber attacks represent emerging threats that few pilots train for. Airlines emphasize system management over basic flying skills, creating pilots who excel at managing computers but struggle with manual flight control. When sophisticated systems fail, and they do fail, pilots must instantly transition from system managers to aviators, a skill set that deteriorates without practice. The Airbus A330's confusion during Air France 447's crash over the Atlantic exemplifies how technology dependence can contribute to disasters when pilots cannot interpret what automated systems are trying to communicate. While American and European aviation maintain high safety standards, international aviation operates under a patchwork of regulations that create dangerous gaps. Airlines from countries with questionable safety records operate flights that connect through major hubs, bringing substandard practices into otherwise safe systems. Foreign pilot training varies dramatically, with some countries issuing licenses through programs that wouldn't meet U.S. private pilot standards. Maintenance oversight in developing nations often relies on visual inspections rather than sophisticated testing. Aircraft registration shopping allows airlines to flag aircraft in countries with minimal oversight while operating globally. The International Civil Aviation Organization sets standards but has no enforcement power, creating a system where compliance is voluntary. Code share agreements allow passengers to book flights on major carriers while actually flying on foreign airlines with unknown safety records. Language barriers between international pilots and controllers create communication failures that have caused multiple fatal accidents. Meanwhile, aging aircraft retired from major airlines often continue service with foreign carriers, operating with deferred maintenance and minimal oversight. While passenger flights receive intense scrutiny, cargo aviation operates under different rules with significantly higher accident rates. Cargo pilots often fly older aircraft with less sophisticated safety equipment, work longer hours with fewer rest requirements, and operate in challenging conditions that passenger airlines avoid. All cargo aircraft carry hazardous materials that passenger planes cannot, including flammable liquids, compressed gases, and toxic chemicals that can create deadly situations during emergencies. Loading practices prioritize efficiency over safety, sometimes creating dangerous weight distributions or cargo shifts during flight. Many cargo operations use aircraft converted from passenger service, modifications that can create new failure modes. Night operations and weather minimums differ for cargo flights, allowing operations during conditions too dangerous for passenger service. The pilot shortage affects cargo operations even more severely than passenger airlines, leading to rapid advancement of inexperienced pilots into captain positions. Cargo aircraft often operate from secondary airports with minimal emergency services and outdated facilities. Despite carrying valuable freight and operating over populated areas, cargo flights receive fraction of the regulatory attention given to passenger operations. So what does all this mean for you as a passenger? First, understand that flying remains statistically safer than driving, but that doesn't mean the risks are negligible or that safety improvements shouldn't be demanded. Choose airlines and aircraft types based on safety records, not just price. Avoid airlines from countries with poor safety oversight, regardless of cost savings. Pay attention during safety briefings and know your aircraft's exit locations. Consider flight times and crew duty periods. Late-night flights with crews on their third or fourth leg of the day carry higher risks. Monitor aircraft age and maintenance records when possible. Understand that smaller regional aircraft and airports generally present higher risks than major carriers and hubs. Most importantly, don't accept industry assurances that everything is fine. Demand better maintenance standards, improved pilot training, modern air traffic control systems, and honest reporting of incidents. The aviation industry responds to pressure, whether from regulators, media, or passengers. Your safety depends not on blind faith in aviation technology, but on continued vigilance and improvement of systems designed to protect your life. The truth about aviation safety is more complex than airlines want you to believe. While flying remains relatively safe, the trends we've discussed today should concern every passenger. What do you think about these aviation safety issues? Have you experienced any close calls or concerning incidents during your flights? Share your experiences in the comments below. If this video opened your eyes to aviation safety realities, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. We'll be diving deeper into transportation safety issues that affect your daily life. And remember, being an informed passenger isn't about being afraid to fly. It's about demanding the safety standards you deserve. Thanks for watching and safe travels.